Guys, you just announced a 50%. off pack sale for all PlayStation players. This is the only major sale going on currently, and this one should last about a week or so. The vehicles that are currently on sale are the Chally 2 OES, the MI-35M, the JA-37DI, the USS Arkansas, the Vidar, the F4J UK, the Kafir Canard, the IJN Yamasharo, the Term 3, every single starter pack in the game, the IS-6, the King Tiger, the P-51D-20 Mustang, the Object 120, the American T-29, the Westland Wyvern, the AH-64, and the Samoa. Now you're probably asking me what vehicles I recommend. Well, I'm going to go through my recommended list from like least recommended to most recommended. Anything highlighted in red on your screen is the least recommended vehicles. These vehicles tend to be very overshadowed by other options, and they're just generally not good. Anything highlighted in orange is better than the red option. Although these vehicles tend to be a little more niche, they necessarily aren't the best in their BR bracket, but they can still be used. Anything in green is a very good option, although it's still not the best, but these vehicles tend to do very well in their BR bracket no matter what. But of course, these vehicles all have their downsides. Finally highlighted in blue are some of the best premiums you could ever pick up. These vehicles tend to kind of run their BR bracket, and they're also just very fun. And I
Niggers, niggers, burgers, niggers, 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 niggers. Do you hear any sound on my stream? Yo, that's crazy. I'm so. Yo, who's deleting my comments? I'm not. You're like you're a moderator. You see my chest? I see so much news now. Do you see? If I'll go ban. If I'll go ban. Smash the curtain. I only have beers. Smash the curtain. I only have beers. Nice. Smash the curtain. How do you do? I only have beers. Did you not get it like a letter back from them? Nope. That should be the thank you for. You can send out like a thing requesting. Smash the curtain. But I didn't. How did you find the beat? I only have beers. I sent it to you. Did you not get it like a letter back from them? Nope. That should be the thank you for. You can send out like a thing requesting. Smash the curtain. But I didn't. How did you find the beat? I only have beers. I sent it to you. Did you not get it like a letter back from them? Nope. That should be the thank you for. You can send out like a thing requesting. Smash the curtain. But I didn't. How did you find the beat? I only have beers. I sent it to you. Did you not get it like a letter back from them? Nope. That should be the thank you for. You can send out like a thing requesting. Smash the curtain. But I didn't. How did you find the beat? I only have beers. I sent it to you. Did you not get it like a letter back from them? Nope. I received because rejections.
Usually when you buy a car like this, the most important thing is the engine. Back in the early 2000s, BMW was facing stricter emission standards and rising fuel economy targets. Their high-revving, naturally aspirated engines were starting to fall behind, so in 2006 they brought back the turbo and introduced the legendary N54. The N54 is a 3-litre twin-turbocharged straight-six and was BMW's first mass-produced turbo petrol engine in over 20 years. It was loaded with new tech, direct injection, and all-aluminium closed-deck block, twin turbos, and forged internals strong enough to handle way more power than stock.
Upgrades, people! Upgrade!
It was not long after the release in 2006 that tuners quickly figured out that you could crank the boost and with basic mods easily push over 500 horsepower. This is the entire reason why I bought this car. Now, I'm very happy with how the car looks right now, but there's still a bunch of work that we need to do to it. We need wheels, we need black trims, and there's a bunch of stuff that you guys mentioned that we will be changing, but it's time to turn our attention away from how the car looks and time to focus on the performance. At the end of the previous video, I showed you guys a little bit of a sneak peek on our plans with the BMW, and just up here are our new downpipes. We're trying to do everything on a budget here, trying to keep the budget low, and I managed to pick up some Facebook Marketplace branded downpipes for the E92 335i. And I've heard that this job is a big job and it's going to be a pain in the ass. I was lucky enough to find these VRS downpipes for only $300, keeping to the theme of the cheapest 335i in Australia. So take this in, guys, because the car is going to be on jack stands for the next couple of minutes for you, but the next couple of days for me. Oh God. So here are the downpipes that we're going to be installing on the 335i. And if you've ever done a downpipe on a turbo car, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that these make a huge difference. It allows the turbos to breathe a lot more efficiently, and they're going to sound better too. These Facebook Marketplace downpipes are designed to allow the exhaust gas to pass much more efficiently through the rest of the exhaust system, so we should see a huge power gain. So let me show you where the factory downpipes are. Here is underneath the car, and if we just slide down here, there is one downpipe and there is the second one. And you can see it gets connected just over there. But look at all of this stuff that is in the way, guys. The steering rack's in the way, the subframe's in the way. This is gonna be a hell of a job. Now, before I begin tearing this car apart, it's got a few issues. It's actually on jack stands not to just get downpipes, but it also needs a problem fixed. Because I let my dad take it to work the other day because he's never really had a BMW before. And when I got the car back, it wasn't making power.
Yeah, I was driving the BMW, it was really smooth, power was really good, I accelerated a few times really hard, and suddenly saw an engine alarm code come up.
That actually brings us onto today's video sponsor, Carly. Carly sells this OBD2 scanner that allows you to scan your car for codes, and it also allows you to do some extra things depending on the car. You can add some features that the car didn't come with from factory, but I need to actually scan the car because I need to figure out what the hell went wrong with it. So the Carly scanner just gets plugged right in there. It's got a light flashing which tells you it's connected. So we're now going to go over to diagnostics. We have our scan complete now. I'm going to click show results. Health status, very bad. Not surprising. Okay, we're gonna read through these engine problems. Electric coolant power reduction operation. Turbocharger boost pressure low, code 0030FF. We're not feeling the full potential of the N54, so that is probably our issue. So one of the intercooler pipes probably popped off. And just with a bit of searching, I found out what happened, and looks like the pipe, the charge pipe has disconnected right there. There is our boost leak. It's a shame because my dad didn't get to feel the full potential of this car because of a massive boost leak, but thanks to Carly, we were able to find that. The Carly scan tool also allows you to add different features that your car might not have had from factory, and also customize features. And better yet, if you want to grab one of these for 15% off, use the code REXH. So thank you, Carly, and let's continue on with taking out these downpipes. All right, guys, the first thing that I reckon I'm gonna do is start disconnecting the downpipes from here. Let's see, 13.
Work that. Push that. Pump that. Work that. Push that. Work out.
Bleeding gums are a sign of bacterial infection. We always recommend Crest Gum toothpaste to our patients. Its unique antibacterial fluoride works below the gum line to reduce bleeding to strengthen gums. Now your gums are healthy. Thanks, Crest.
13. The best practice when working on cars like this is to take your time and slowly undo everything that you can see that's in the way. There's no point ever taking shortcuts working on a BMW because it will end up being 10 times harder and you probably won't get the job done at all. In order to get to the V-band clamps that hold the downpipes to the turbos, there's a few things you have to remove and do. The first thing to do, of course, is disconnect the exhaust from the downpipes, which I've already done, as well as remove the subframe brace. I then started disconnecting the engine mounts with the 2 bolts underneath the subframe, and that's because in order to change the downpipes, you need to drop the subframe. Yes, how good is that? Now, I'm not sure what the process is on a left-hand drive E92, but on a right-hand drive,
The Su-30 is a plane that I was personally most excited for this update because I saw a lot of potential in this plane, and it hinged entirely on how they decided to model the R-77-1. And I am pretty satisfied with the way this plane has been added and the missiles it carries. To cut to the chase, I do not think that this plane is overpowered by any means, but I do think that it finally gives Russia a competitive aircraft at top tier. Before, the flankers were just kind of something that, sure, you could play and you could get kills in, but you'd rather just be playing an F-15 or something like that if you're trying to sweat, or, you know, a Eurofighter or a Rafale or something like that. You don't really want to play Russia if you want the most competitive aircraft. However, the Su-30 is actually a real contender for amongst the most effective jets in this 16 versus 16 ARB environment. I wouldn't say it's necessarily better than the big three, obviously, but I think it's a real contender for number 4, and like I said, it's just something that's finally actually worth taking out and gives you a bit of a different experience while still being useful. Now, to talk about the plane itself, the obvious thing about this aircraft that makes it so unique and makes it pretty competitive is the missile quantity and the missile kit. And that's really one of two things that really make this aircraft, is the missile kit and quantity. You get R-77-1s, which are a new missile that the Russians get, that is pretty much on par with the AMRAAM. I'm not going to say one's necessarily better than the other for sure, but I will say that after my testing in custom battles with sensor view and analysis and stuff like that, as well as just taking it out in ARB, I will tell you that my preference is absolutely the R-77-1, and I'm going to explain why here, and then maybe you can make up your mind which missile you prefer. Again, one missile is not entirely for sure better than the other. They have their strengths and weaknesses, and I think that the R-77-1 is finally actually on par with AMRAAMs and other long-range missiles, whereas we all know the R-77 was pretty weak at basically everything except pretty close-range shots, and it's not even thrust vectoring, so it wasn't even actually the best at it. In a pure straight line, let's say the target is flying right at you and doesn't move at all, the R-77 is just flat out better than the AMRAAM, reaching the target about 2 seconds sooner than the AIM-120 does. It has more acceleration, it gets to a higher top speed, and so long as the target isn't maneuvering, it gets a massive speed boost over the AMRAAM that lets it get to the target first. So in a straight line, the R-77-1 has as much range or more than the AIM-120. However, we all know that targets tend to not just fly in straight lines right for your missile, so how does it do against maneuvering targets? As we know, the R-77 is notorious for bleeding all of its energy once it has to actually start pulling to adjust for flight path corrections in the target. You know, anytime somebody starts cranking or defending against your missile, the R-77 historically loses a lot of speed due to its fin design, and the R-77-1 is no exception here. However, from my testing with A-120s and R-77-1s shot side by side at the same target, pulling the same maneuvers, obviously because they're going after the same plane, it doesn't actually make a difference. The R-77-1 gets such a massive speed boost early in its flight over the AMRAAM that now it can actually afford to bleed a lot of that speed in the maneuvers that it starts pulling towards the end of its flight as the target is trying to evade. If you look at the two missiles in sensor view fired at the same target, the R-77-1 really pulls ahead of the AMRAAM at the beginning of the shot, but the AMRAAM does catch up toward the end. Once it starts getting closer to the target,
At Starbucks, we're proud to offer over 20
towards the end of its flight as the target is trying to evade. If you look at the two missiles in sensor view fired at the same target, the R-77-1 really pulls ahead of the AMRAAM at the beginning of the shot, but the AMRAAM does catch up toward the end. Once it starts
Welcome back, and today we are playing out the Su-33. Now, whether you grinded out this thing or you golden eagle this, it might be the first top tier that you ever get your hands on, and you might be a little bit lost. Now, I want to go over how this plane behaves, what it's like, whether it's good or not, but also want to just give you a bit of a crash course on top tier. Now, if you want to know how to notch, how to use